Hi everyone. Today we're gonna use Google Gemini Gems, and this is a really useful way to have almost like your own custom coach model for your specific use case. So to put simply, Google Gemini Gems are the equivalent of ChatGPT projects, where basically you have the model, you feed it a certain context through a number of pieces of information, for example, like PDFs, PowerPoints, text, etc. You give it a very specific instruction, and then you can reuse this on the longer run. So Google Gems are available on the gemini.google.com here, as you can see, and you have their own gem manager. So you can have, for example, the brainstormer, the career guide, the go-to partner, etc., that are already pre-set. And what I wanted to share with you today is one of my favorite use cases that you can use, which is basically instead of feeding it just like very simple pieces of documentation, I'm gonna feed it a full book in a PDF format. So in this case, I'm gonna use the book How to Win Any Negotiation. Very famous book. I have it in a PDF format. This book talks about different formats of negotiation and how to make the best out of those scenarios with very practical solution techniques and tips and tricks. So in this case, very simply, I'm gonna create a new gem, and this is how it looks like. So we're gonna give it a name. We're gonna call this the negotiation coach, for example. In the instruction here, we're gonna give it a very specific prompt that I already built, and I'm gonna give it to you here, and you can ask, and I will share it in the comments below, where basically I specify the role and the goal. The entire knowledge base, methodology, and identity here are built on How to Win Any Negotiation by Robert Meyer. The knowledge base and the guidelines, the interaction style, the information the coach would need from me if necessary. And here I'm gonna give it the specific file, which in this case is the book itself. So I'm just gonna drag and drop the PDF, How to Win Any Negotiation. And that's basically the whole thing. And we can start testing it with a very specific use case. And let's start with a simple one. Let's say career-wise, I'm always negotiating whenever there's a new job. So in this case, I'm saying I'm in a tough spot and could use some advice. I just got an offer from my dream job, but the salary they offered is honestly a bit insulting. It's way below market. I really want the job, but I also don't want to get taken advantage of. I'm afraid if I push too hard, they'll just rescind the offer. And the recruiter keeps saying things like, this is the top of the budget. I have a great feeling about the hiring manager. What's the best way to handle this? Everyday situation for many people. So instead of me asking the full Google Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude AI, I build this coach that I'm gonna work with personally, leveraging the whole full experience of the author and the book that he wrote about how to win any negotiation without raising your voice or losing your mind. So we're gonna submit this and we're gonna work together on this. So here we have it with the first output. I'm your coach. I'm ready to help you. To begin, please tell me about the negotiation. I just got a job offer. These are the parties. This is my goal. This is my walkway point, which is the best alternative scenario. What's the other party's perceived goal, the stickiness point, the history, and the stakes. And I'm gonna give it, this is good to go. And we're gonna work from there basically to negotiate. So first, it's gonna give us basically the full Myers framework, which is which mindset. As Meyer emphasizes, winning is a mindset. You have a strong and positive outlook on the job, which is a great starting point. However, your fear of the offer being rescinded is a form of victim's mentality. And I didn't even think of that. We need to reframe this. You are a valuable candidate with a great relationship, and they have invested time and resources to get to this point. There, no. And this is another piece of knowledge in the book. The recruiter's statement is a classic opening move, which is in this case very reassuring because sometimes I'm in that situation and I need to get some perspective. And this is a really good sparring partner. It's a positional statement designed to anchor why they can go higher on salary rather than simply accepting the statement at face value. And then the relationship. And from there, it starts providing suggestion in terms of tactic and actionable steps. For example, creating involvement. How does that look like? Hey, I'm very excited about this opportunity. Given the salary range, what are the key performance metrics you're looking for in the first year to demonstrate my value? This shifts the focus from a fixed number to your potential contribution, which is very smart. A second tactic is I'm concerned that the salary offered here is significantly lower. Could you walk me through how the compensation for this position was determined? This encourages transparency and provides you with information. Now, another piece of intel is how to expand the pie. Because buyers don't buy things, they buy deals. So salary is just one component, which means you can negotiate other bargaining lanes to add on top of that salary so you can fall into a more ideal state for you. Relationship lane, for example, a training lane, other perks, and so on. And then the slow squeeze. So basically saying, don't rush into a response, take your time to carefully craft a counter offer. And then preparing for the opening. And this is how it goes all the way. And you can really go back and forth in terms of interaction until you find the appropriate format, results, outputs, and you can take it from there. Once this is done, we're going to save this gem and we can go back to it for more once we have the need into another negotiation situation. Now, let's work through another negotiation situation, and this time with a kitchen contractor. So this is also a very regular standard um, scenario where you're working with your kitchen contractor and basically you are being held hostage. How can you work in that situation? So basically, I gave it the prompt, natural language. We had a contract for 25K. Now that the kitchen is totally ripped apart, he's handed me a new bill for 35K, blaming unforeseen issues and a couple of small things we talked about. I feel totally cornered. How do I even begin to negotiate with someone who has all the power right now? That's it. And we're gonna give it this to start the work. And all the gem is gonna do the same process and the same approach. It's gonna give us the full overview here, the parties. So this is almost like repeating all the critical elements of the situation. What are the sticking points? And you can add more on this, or you can use it as a starting point. So I'm gonna ask it to proceed with that. So saying, I have analyzed the situation through the lens of how to win any negotiation. First, let's analyze the contractor tactics. And here is the plan of action based on this methodology. One, don't let him win the head game. Create a positive aura. So, as Mayer emphasizes, before you can control a situation, you must control yourself. So, this is the emotional aspect of it, which is the really good. So, the initial instinct might be to react with anger, but that will only fall into an escalation mode. So, your goal is to be an uncompromising compromiser with a soft touch approach. Avoid the you versus me mentality. CNS the hostility. You might be right on what you are saying, or if I were in your shoes, I think I would feel the same way, etc., etc. Two, identify their tactics and turn the tables. The goal is, for example, to deconstruct the unforeseen issues. Ask them for detailed breakdown of the new cost. Negotiate from the why, as in what parts of the original scope or of work are different now, or what are the specific reasons these new charges were necessary. So these are very practical, very down to earth, nothing very academic or in the theory of the negotiation. You can take this away for like 3 minutes chat right away and start working with it. So to recap, basically, Google Gems, you can create as many as you want. Once you have it, you add your content, PDFs, text, etc. You give it your own structure in terms of voice and style. You give it a name, and you're good to go. That's all you need. So hope this helpful, and to the next video.